Just a few days to go before the votes are counted. You're probably breathing a sigh of relief. This has been one contentious election year. One of the more hotly contested races is between a man who wants to return to Washington and a woman in the national spotlight. We at the Utah League of Cities and Towns, a nonpartisan organization, spoke with Mayor Mia Love and Congressman Jim Matheson about some of the issues facing Utah's cities and towns. First, an issue that affects everyone on the road: transportation. Many roads in our cities and towns are crumbling. They're covered with potholes and patches. Traffic often slows to a crawl on our highways. And while city planners look long-term, road crews often must implement a quick fix. What can Congress do to help?
Some of the reasons we have issues in Washington is because Washington doesn't make money. They have to tax it or borrow it. So they take it from people at the local area, and then it comes back with all of these strings attached. I look at I-15 corridor as the I-15 corridor is a really good example of how when the states were able to fund it, they found they did it a lot faster, and they did it for over $200 million cheaper than what they could have done it. So I'm going to advocate for as much money to be kept in the local area as possible so that we don't have as much regulations and as much hoops to jump through, and we can make sure that we're fixing our roads a lot faster than leaving it in the hands of federal government.
And whether it's in a small town or a big city or stretches in between, we need that infrastructure both to allow people to move efficiently and also product to move efficiently. And so it's a great job creator when you're investing in the actual infrastructure, but it also is good for our economy in terms of greater efficiency. And so we've always agreed on that, but it's kind of gotten some cracks in the wall lately on that agreement, and you don't see that unanimity of focus in Washington.
There are times that cities look for help from the federal government immediately, like when fires burn the adjacent terrain and homeowners are in jeopardy. Saratoga Springs was hit especially hard this season when flames broke out on the hillsides in the city's backyard on BLM land. How does the mayor see the role federal funds play during a natural disaster?
We would love to have local control of those lands, because then we could pull weeds off, we can try and maintain the land. We have no maintenance or no jurisdiction over those lands, but we always have to deal with those problems. So the best thing that they could do is to at least give us control of those lands, or at least take care of those lands so they don't affect the residents that are living in these cities. Fortunately, the people that were hurt most were private homes. And it doesn't matter, federal government doesn't come in and fix those private homes. So it's up to us to try and fix them, which is really unfortunate. They won't come in and help out these homeowners that have been affected by something outside of the city's control that's actually happened on federal lands. So I'm going to do everything I can to advocate for getting those lands back and at least holding them responsible for the lands that they do control.
Congressman Matheson is presently serving in the 2nd District, representing many constituents whose livelihood depends on coal. And while many Democrats in Washington differ with his view, Matheson wants to expand the use of coal to produce energy and subsequently bring vitality to Utah's coal mining district.
For most of our lives with really inexpensive, quality energy sources. It's really one of the cornerstones of our economy. And here in Utah in particular, we have relatively low electricity costs to most of the country, and we rely on that coal resource for that. So it's something that I've always valued as really a building block for our economy, and it's something that I think is going to be, for the foreseeable future, as far as I can imagine, the most significant source of how we make electricity in Utah.
Since state lawmakers changed the boundaries to accommodate another congressional district, Matheson has chosen to change districts. He would no longer be the designated representative for those in coal country. 97% of those in the 4th District live on the Wasatch Front. Yet he's seeing a bigger responsibility.
I've always tried to represent all of Utah's interests when I'm a member of Congress anyway, and so it's not like it's all brand new for me.
On the other hand, Love, as a city mayor, has represented a community of fewer than 18,000.
I have more experience in government, in local government especially, going into Washington than my opponent. I have more experience than any of the other people that we have that before they ran for Congress. And so I think that's the problem that we have. We're lacking leadership in Washington. Too many people just stand up and they say, we're going to go to Washington, and they're looking at this as work for them. This is a service.
They are strikingly different in opinion, yet both convinced that their ideas will represent Utahns well. So, you decide. For the Utah League of Cities and Towns, I'm Susan Wood.